Welcome to the What's Up With That
What's up with that
podcast. Episode 3. Today's topic is Flex 100. What is Flex 100 all about? This is our English language arts focus. Every single quarter, we want our students to be practicing their reading, writing, and speaking skills. So you can see this is a bulletin board that we have posted in our space. By the end of the quarter, each student is expected to earn 100 flex points, but they have complete autonomy in how they earn those points. So they determine what tasks they're going to complete throughout the quarter, and they even determine how many points each of those tasks will be worth.
When students are ready to work on a flex idea, they have to first start by creating a flex plan. They either get a paper copy of this plan sheet you see here. They can access it and work on it digitally through an app called Notability on their iPads, or they can fill out a Google form which walks through all of these steps and submit it that way as well. Basically, they identify what tasks they're going to be working on. So maybe they're working on a book group and some chapter summaries or a book summary to work on both reading and writing. They identify the ELA area or areas they will be focusing on. They decide from the start about how many points would they have planned. So maybe they think it's worth 50, and this part would leave blank until they're done with the flex task, and then they would meet with an advisor to decide that. They come up with a step-by-step plan. Often students will say, like, step 1, I need to select a book. Step 2, my group and I will make a plan for reading the book, and so on. And then they look at the power standards, especially the ELA ones, and they choose up to 3 power standards that they're going to be working on for that flex task. They might choose ones from science, social studies, technology, math practices, stuff like that, but a lot of times their focus is on the ELA power standards. They leave this blank until their final reflection meeting, and then they show this entire plan to an advisor who discusses it with them, and if everything looks okay, we'll give them their approval. Then it's time to work through the tasks. So then we encourage them to go back to this action plan and walk step by step through that action plan, knowing that it might shift or change a little bit based on things they find that need to be added or taken away from their plan. But when they're finished with the task, a couple things happen. First of all, they go into Canvas and they go into the ELA Arctic or Chill Time course, and they find the Flex power standard that they were working on. So let's say they're working on Flex ELA 1. They would then go to Flex ELA 1 first attempt, and they would upload their final product. Maybe it's a summary of the book. Maybe it's a Google Doc with a whole bunch of chapter summaries. Maybe it's a speech that they did and recorded through iMovie. Let's say they decide to work on Flex ELA 1 and 7. They would also go into 7 and upload it there as well. So then we as advisors can assess their mastery level, demonstrates mastery in progress, or not enough evidence yet for each of those areas because all of those power standards are so very different. Then they will do a Flex reflection and reflection meeting. So they'll go into a Google form and fill that out. When they're done with the Flex task reflection, it will email a PDF reflection form to both advisors, to them as a student, and to you as parents. So you can see I created a test student one here. Is their name? What did they work on? What power standards? Before they hit submit, they discuss this with an advisor so we can discuss their mastery level for these different standards based on the evidence they provided. And so they go through and rate themselves along with the advisor on the mastery level. They do a reflection on how they became a better reader, writer, and speaker and things to work on in the future. They decide on the final number of points earned for that task, and then also then how many total points do they have for the quarter. So this is a great place for you to kind of keep track of where are they throughout the quarter in getting to 100. So this student would have earned 50 points for the book group. Somewhere along the line, they probably did a 20-pointer, so they're up to 70, and they still have 30 to go for the quarter.
Now, the cool part is the tasks themselves. What can we be doing to practice our reading, our writing, and our speaking? And there are limitless options. This is another bulletin board that we have posted in our space with a variety of options for practicing all three of those skill areas. But this is not everything. This is not the end all be all. Now, when we talk about point values, we're really thinking about a combination of things, maybe time or effort put into a task, but also the level of learning taking place. If writing a 5-paragraph essay is something that comes easy to you, something that you can whip out a quality essay in a very short amount of time, that's not going to be worth as many points to you if you understand those concepts already as it would be to someone who is maybe diving into those skills for the first time. So some examples maybe of 10 to 20 point tasks might be reading an article online and conducting a summary or a reflection of that. Maybe writing and sending a letter to someone you know. Maybe increasing the points a little bit, practicing your speaking skills by writing out some interview questions, interviewing someone, and then recording answers and reflecting on that interview process. We've had quite a few students write, practice, and perform skits that they film or record or perform live for an audience. And a very common one that's happening now is students organizing book club groups where they are organizing meetings, they are selecting books, they're determining chapter reading assignments for their next meeting, roles and responsibilities for each group member, a final product idea for at the end of, at the completion of the book. So that would be, with all of those tasks going into that one overall task, a larger point value there. So those are just some examples for you.
Also, we wanted to mention as we wrap up this episode of What's Up With That, each quarter we set the reset button. So when we get to the end of quarter one, whether students have earned exactly 100 points or some students maybe had got to 110, 120, those points don't carry over. We hit the reset button. We have a fresh start on Flex. They start with new Flex ideas, new Flex plans, new Flex completions and reflection meetings. And then the goal is to get to 100 points working on being a better reader, writer, and speaker throughout that quarter.
That concludes episode 3 of the What's Up With That?
What's Up With That?
Podcast.
Podcast.